Hello there, lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV main news today, the 29th of April in the year 2025. Let's now take a look at the headlines. Government cuts power imports by $45 million and boosts solar investments. Gender-based violence cases rise by over 15% in first quarter of 2025, says Zambia police. Agricultural expert urges government to prioritize local consumption amid projected bumper harvest. In international news, Russian air tankers assist in firefighting efforts following deadly explosion at Iranian port. In sports, first to build museum in honor of the departed Zambia senior men's national team. Join us for these and many more stories after this break. Welcome back to Camnet TV main news, broadcasting live on Topstar channel 106, Facebook, YouTube, and streaming live on Kenstream app as Camnet TV. With the news in detail, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. The United Party for National Development (UPND) energy expert engineer Charles Kaisala has disclosed that government is now saving approximately $45 million per month following a reduction in power importation costs. Speaking during a press briefing this morning, Chairman for Energy Engineer Kaisala revealed that government previously spent $60 million monthly to cushion the country's power deficit, but now only spends $15 million per month to import electricity from Mozambique. He further stated that despite this improvement, the government continues to prioritize investments in solar energy as part of its long-term strategy to address the impact of past droughts on power generation.
I think I talked about the cost of importing power every month, about $60 million. That's a lot of money, because if that money was invested in the solar or something, we can put up something like 50 megawatts of solar plant. But now we are spending that money just in 1 month to cushion off the impact of load shedding. So you can imagine how difficult it is for our country and ZESCO to manage this thing vis-a-vis when you look at the current tariffs, which are not cost reflective. So we have done some assessment, and also with the improvement in the water levels, that we are now saving about $45 million a month on the imports from the 60. So roughly the power we are importing right now is from Mozambique only, and we are spending roughly about $20 million. So then we have Undola Energy, which is a private owned entity on the Copper Belt. It is next to Indeni. It used to generate power using high HFO. So that one has been reconfigured to use diesel, so it's generating about 105 megawatts, which is also helping to cushion off the impact on load shedding. And then what are we doing? We are trying to deploy 125 megawatts of solar power by June 2025, which is just maybe a month from now. Where will this come from? We have Zambia, 100 megawatts, which is at about 90 to 95% completion.
The Zambia Police Service has disclosed that the country has in the first quarter of 2025 recorded a total of 11,177 gender-based violence GBV cases countrywide, representing a 15.2% rise compared to 9,700 cases recorded during the same period in 2024. Police Public Relations Officer Roy Hamonga says of the total cases recorded, 7,170 were criminal in nature, while 4,007 were non-criminal. Mr. Hamonga adds that 29 gender-based violence related murder cases were recorded during the same period, a figure unchanged from the previous year. Mr. Hamonga expressed concern over the growing trend, noting that women and children, especially girls, remain the most vulnerable. The police further stated that 2,474 of the victims were children, with girls accounting for 73.4% of these cases, with 85.8% of child-related cases being criminal in nature. Among other victims, 82.6% were women, reinforcing the disproportionate impact of GBV on females across age groups.
During the first quarter of 2025, a total of 11,177 gender-based violence cases were recorded countrywide. This represents an increase of 1,477 cases, or 15.2% compared to 9,700 cases recorded during the same period in 2024. Of the total cases recorded, 7,170 cases were classified as criminal, while 4,007 cases were non-criminal in nature. The quarter also recorded 29 murder cases related to gender-based violence, the same number as the previous year in 2024. Out of the total cases recorded, 2,474 involved child victims. These were criminal in nature, with girls accounting for 73.4% of these cases, highlighting the vulnerability of female children to gender-based violence. Adults accounted for 77.8%, or 8,703 cases of gender-based violence victims. Of these, 7,185 were women and 1,518 were men, underscoring the continued disproportionate impact of gender-based violence on women. Physical abuse remained the most common form of gender-based violence, with 3,881 cases reported. Of these, 3,271 cases were assault occasioning actual bodily harm. This represents a 7.6% increase from the 3,041 cases reported in the first quarter of 2024. The Police Service remains steadfast in its commitment to combating gender-based violence through strengthened community awareness, enhanced reporting mechanism, continuous stakeholder engagement, and provision of counseling and protection services. We urge all citizens to report any form of gender-based violence and work with the police to ensure a safer and more just society for all.
Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Thabo Kawana has described recent remarks by the Opposition Patriotic Front PF, claiming that President Hakainde Hichilema is working hard but on wrong things as disappointing and unfounded. Mr. Kawana says the UPND government has been committed to addressing numerous challenges inherited from the previous administration, including the restructuring of an unsustainable debt burden, which he says was left behind by the Patriotic Front. He has further accused the former ruling party of mismanaging public funds for selfish interests, alleging widespread embezzlement that undermined public service delivery and economic growth during their tenure.
It is rather disappointing, but not shocking, that the opposition can today claim that the president is working very hard at doing the wrong things. It is not shocking because they are so used to doing the wrong thing, such that when someone does something right, according to them, it becomes wrong. This president has worked so hard to restructure the debt which they accumulated and embezzled and store, claiming that they're putting it in Zambia Railways when nothing was put there, claiming that they're putting it in ZESCO when nothing was put there. They embezzled the resources. And today that he has gone and he has worked so hard and restructured the debt, they are saying he's worked hard to doing the wrong things. This President Hakainde Hichilema, has worked so hard to bring back meal allowances to the students. The meal allowances which they took away, mercilessly so. But today, the students have the meal allowance back. This president has worked so hard to bring about free education, which has seen over 2 million people in Zambia go back to school. These are young people mainly that were destined to become junkies in this country, because this is what that government was about, producing junkies to an extent where even the economy, in accordance with the rating institutions, they rated Zambia's economy as that of a junk status. Today, this president has worked very hard, President Hakainde Hichilema, and the country has been rated positively. Today, this economy, which was growing negatively by the PF government, this president and his team have worked so hard that we are posting positive growth. So we want to say to the opposition that if they could take several
Medicines and Research and Access Platform (MEDRAP) has urged the government to repeal and revise the National Health Insurance Management Authority (NIMA) Act to allow for the categorization of medical services covered under the health insurance scheme. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, MEDRAP Executive Director Dr. Lyoka expressed concern over the imbalance between contributions made by some members and the level of medical services they expect to receive. He noted that certain treatments and medications are prohibitively expensive and cannot be sustainably covered under the current low contribution rates.
There is need for amendment of the NIMA Act, now been in existence for over 5 years, and that has also revealed gaps in the manner in which NIMA is providing services to the community in Zambia. And one of them is what we've already mentioned. There is only a flat service guided by a percentage contribution by members. One of the things that we want to see in the new NIMA dispensation is to have a differentiated categorization of services that will go to members, so that we can actually have different notches in terms of the services that are provided to the members of the public. What we're trying to say is that there could be an entry level for everybody else that allows members of NIMA in that category to actually access all primary healthcare services. There should be another level that allows members in that category also to, maybe other than just the primary healthcare services, to have other added services to the package for NIMA. But when we increase those notches, that will also have to do with how much we are contributing to NIMA in order for us to be able to access those those services. So in direct reference to road traffic accidents, in a situation where NIMA is allowed by its statutes to provide for differentiated services, one of the categories would actually be for the road traffic accident victims that NIMA can actually cover at that level under that dispensation. But we must understand that NIMA cannot do that now because the statutes do not allow them to actually differentiate the services that they are providing to the members of the public now.
Support for poverty reduction in Zambia has called on the government to increase the number of farmers registered under the Farmer Import Support Program, FISIP, in light of the recent drought that severely impacted the agricultural sector and worsened food insecurity. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Organization Programs Manager Rhoda Banda highlighted that the prolonged dry spell disrupted farming activities across the country, contributing to rising poverty levels and placing many households under economic strain. She underscored the need for government to help farmers invest in climate-smart agriculture to ensure sustainability even in times of drought, as was the case last year.
Vulnerable families, our appeal to government is for them to continue with the social cash transfer program. I think this is a very good program that is helping a lot of vulnerable families out there. I think one thing we need to realize as a country is that owing to the bad season that we had, 2023 to 2024 rainy season, which was very, very poor, I think a lot of families were sent in abject poverty, and what it means is that more people became vulnerable. And so our appeal to government is to ensure that they bring on board more vulnerable families on the social cash transfer so that more people can benefit. Other than that, we also want to appeal to government to ensure that they put more vulnerable families on the FISIP program. I think this is another good program that can help fight household poverty. If only more vulnerable families can access farming inputs so that they can be able to grow more food and reduce household poverty. Of course, we are alive to the fact that previously this facility or this program was abused, but with proper scrutiny, we believe that if we put the rightful beneficiaries on the FISIP program, then we are going to reduce poverty at household level. Then we also want to call upon government to invest in climate-smart agriculture. I think this is very important. As you know, I think if we cannot draw lessons from the 2023 to 2024 rainy season, then we are doomed as a country. I think we need to be focused, we need to remain resolute in fighting poverty, and this entails that we don't just look at the immediate measures, such as the measures that were put in place by government during the drought season.
Agriculture expert Dr. Oliver Bulaya has called on government to prioritize local food security before considering exporting any maize from the projected bumper harvest this year. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, Dr. Bulaya stressed the importance of consulting key stakeholders in the agricultural sector before authorizing the export of this year's produce. He warned that premature export decisions could risk pushing the country back into the food insecurity experienced last year during last year's severe drought. He noted that despite Zambia recording a good harvest in 2023, the country still faced food shortages in 2024, leading to a spike in poverty levels, a situation he described as unfortunate and avoidable.
I think this is the information that is available, to all of us, and we've experienced this, that last year was not favorable, and as a country, we faced, numerous, challenges, especially in terms of food insecurity, that also led to higher poverty levels for our farmers and also the communities, largely in the rural areas and also in the urban areas. And in this year, we are anticipating, better yields. I think beyond the 3 million metric tons, of which, in terms of cushioning the impact of food insecurity, this year is better, compared, to last year. And we appreciate farmers, for the efforts in terms of pushing, agricultural productivity. And many other farmers did not participate because others, thought that this could be the similar year, last year. Do we expect more farmers, especially in the 2025-2026 season, that will do even much more in terms of also adding up, our production levels with favorable rainfall and climate smart agriculture interventions? We anticipate to keep pushing our production levels, each year, even as we go towards, the target the government has given in 2027 for 10 million metric tons. Now, what do we do with this anticipated, yields, especially over maize? And I think there are enough lessons that we've learned in the past.
We now go to Western Province, where some taxi drivers and Senanga residents in the district are appealing to the government to work on dilapidated Mongu-Senanga Road, which is in a bad condition, posing threat to road users. Speaking to Camnet News in Senanga, Kambole Katukula, operating on the same road, is calling on the government through the Road Development Agency to work on the road, as they are finding it difficult to operate on the same road due to potholes. Mr. Katungula has stated that the road stretching from Nande to Matongo areas is dilapidated and needs to be worked on before any accident happens. Mr. Katukula further said, from the time when heavy trucks carrying copper from northwestern to South Africa started using the road, it has never been worked on, resulting in road being damaged.
Road networks in Western Province has been a source of worry, as most roads are in a dilapidated state. And Mongu-Senanga Road from Nande Matongo area in Senanga district is not exceptional. Speaking to Camnet News in Senanga district, Kambole Katukula stated that much needs to be done in order to improve the road, as its condition is dilapidated by heavy trucks carrying copper from northwestern province.
Our road is very bad. This is Mongu-Senanga Road, especially when you are, let's say, starting from Victoria up to I think up to somewhere I do from there. The road is very bad. So we are appealing to the government if they can come and work on that road. Because we'll be spending, our vehicles have done fine that when we move, we are buying new tires, we hit into a portal, the tire coming in separation and all those things. So we are appealing to the government to please to look about this road. Each of us who's going to Namibia, Bob's Bay, they are normally using the same road. Go to Botswana, they are using the same road. So I think this road, we need to build a good road where it's very strong for fit for the item we are carrying, because we are carrying heavy duty, copper and other stuff. Maybe 4 months from now, this road will be just a gravel.
Other speakers include Chris Kakoma, a taxi driver operating Mongu-Senanga Road, and Wanyao area resident, Skotesi Aisi.
Kwa usinyele bana baisho ukalela fera fa Nande kufuta konji Matongo usinyele mkwakwa lero ikupera kumina bamuso mulutuse kwa tenu kulofale mani totu mota twana tutu inyani kukena mwate twana wakona kubyanguka kukena mwamushitu lero ikupera balwezeze kwa tenu kulofale pile ana fale limota zao na za fera ma suspension yale ya fera na ukafera kona mwili nata mama poto alapike matuna hapo mile mkwakwa lero unakona for pile ana fale kuliako kufuma ne yange kuli kupeto hakuna nenge ko ubyangukera tona kitu mota tutu inyani akima track
isakupo ya kuli muso wo wana ZAMBIA wa nyudoni ukone kulutwela manyeke fahali mwa mkwakwa wozwa Senanga kuya Mongu kapa Mongu-Senanga Road usinye hile halwa mbola twana mane mwa sunda efelile kubatile kweza spark limota libatile kunatana kuna ni section fo pume hile kimisima sima yale yeye peile yepumile mkwakwa oliteni fateni ne uyaluliwe uyaiwe sincha kwili motele kwene kuba nitukulo kwa kuzama ya
Musievo Kavira, Camnet News in Senanga District, Western Province.
Socialist Party scientist Innocent Mlenga Kolala has observed that the Constituency Development Fund (CDF) is a vital development intervention which some members of parliament have failed to utilize to influence progress in their localities. Mr. Kolala notes that despite government's incremental funding, many areas in various constituencies like Luwingu still lack essential social amenities like improved schools, healthcare facilities and bridges. Mr. Mlenga has attributed this disparity to absentee members of parliament who rarely engage with their constituents to prioritize projects.
Where they are having difficulties is that, yes, the CDF has been increased. It has been increased, but it is not translating into, of course, what is on the ground. You find that despite the increase of the CDF, the roads still are very bad. Despite the increase of the CDF, you find that, of course, there are some schools which requires to be roofed. We find that, of course, there are bridges which are worn out. We find that, of course, there are quite a number of amenities which are not up to the standard as expected by the Zambian people, especially these areas where I've visited. What could be the reasons which we are receiving from the people on the ground? They are saying, one, the members of parliament, I think they are not engaging on the ground. They are really not solving the problems which they were elected for. And most members of parliament, I think, they are more of Lusaka than being in the peripheral. I think members are saying, even in these contracts which are being given using the CDF funds, you find that it's only the outsiders from the constituencies who are benefiting from such funds. Then they're asking questions. Social scientist Innocent Mlenga Kolala, go and ask on our behalf. Does it mean where these people come from to come and undertake such projects here?
Mr. Innocent Mlenga Kolala there, a social scientist and not Socialist Party member. Moving on in the news, we go to Eastern Province where Lundazi District Commissioner Marjorie Banda has held WeEffect as its partners for implementing government's efforts in uplifting livelihoods of women under the Lundazi District Women Association. The Women Economic Empowerment Project, funded by the Swedish Embassy through WeEffect Zambia, aims to enhance the economic and social empowerment of women. And speaking during the pass-on of the GOVT project ceremony, Ms. Banda says the program is a reflection that when women work together, they can achieve greater things. Meanwhile, Lundazi District Association Coordinator Humphrey Gondwe explains that 252 GOVTs have been passed over to 8 women at a total value of 176,500 kwacha.
Our partners, SIDA, WeEffect, and the technical team, thank you for walking this journey with us. Together we are building a better Lundazi. The distribution of GOVTs from the Kapidi and to Temwani Area Association is more than livestock handover. It is a demonstration of love, care, women empowerment, empowering women. You are showing us that when women support one another, everyone arise. Hapa nkupenja kutinio yepo bapaka. Bala mzimai wa kushita support mzimai mnyaki. Mzimai wali wasi wa kushita bichi wa kuuka. When gone are the days when mzimai wakakalanga pasi nchito njojedana kuboho waona wala eva ndavale makola eva ndachita chenchileke. Let's focus.
So the total number of women who are going to benefit from this person, there are 80 women. The total GOVTs that are going to give them is 252. What the total value of 176,500 kwacha. So these women they have gone through different types of training for livestock and business, because we understand that livestock is a business. So we want them to take it as a business. But again, there's what we have done is because this one is a purpose on the gift. So they only do a business after the pass on. So for the people who have taken the pass on today, they are going to pass on next year in October to other women groups.
A senior government official in the Ministry of Agriculture has commended farmers in Kasempa for embracing sustainable climate-smart agriculture (CSA) practices under the Ecosystem Conservation and Community Livelihoods Enhancement Project. Speaking at the Smart Agriculture Farmer Field School, field days held in Lwamisamba and Kabanyike areas of Kelongwa Agricultural Camp, Principal Agricultural Officer for Northwestern Province Simbarashe Nuwambwe praised the farmers for their commitment to sustainable agriculture. Mr. Muwambwe noted that farmers in Kasempa, along with those in Kalumbira and Mwinilunga districts, are increasingly adopting practices supported by the Nature Conservancy Zambia. Details in this report.
Farmers in Kasempa district are embracing sustainable climate-smart agriculture through the Farmer Field School approach. In Rwamisamba and Kabanyike areas, farmers have been trained in practical techniques that improve land productivity, conserve biodiversity, and build resilience against climate change. The initiative is part of the Ecosystem Conservation and Community Livelihoods Enhanced Project, supported by the Nature Conservancy in collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture and other government departments. Principal Agricultural Officer for Northwestern Province, Simbarashe Muwambwe, who graced the 2 field days held at Rwamisamba and Kabanyike areas in Kelongwa Agricultural Camp, praised the farmers for taking the lead in adopting these sustainable practices.
As a Government of Agriculture, we are given the component number 3, which looks at sustainable agricultural production. So under this component, we are looking at how best do we transfer technologies to our farmers in the communities, and we are using the Farmer Field School approach. So that's why we are here, and I think the farmers have been supportive in implementing this program. And also would like to thank the funders, Global Environment Fund, the TNC, who have been coordinating the activity, and also the Forest Department.
Farmers in Kasempa district are not just learning, they are already putting sustainable climate smart agriculture into practice.
Simon
Mudenda is the Principal Agricultural Research Officer from Zambia Agricultural Research Institute.
Our role through Mutanda Research Station in Kalumbira district is to demonstrate proven agricultural technologies.
The Forest Department in Kasempa also highlighted the project's role in environmental preservation through sustainable activities such as beekeeping.
We're coming in because the major activities that we do is to ensure that people are aware of how best they can use the forest. For example, I'll give maybe beekeeping when we do extension works.
Kasempa District Agriculture Office is leading the promotion of smart farming technologies among the small-scale farmers.
As a district, what we are trying to promote is crop diversification. This in turn will increase crop yield.
Private sector partners, including AfriSeed and Kakez seed companies, also attended the field days to promote agricultural value chains and access to improved inputs.
We are here to support these initiatives by providing climate smart seeds.
For us, we saw it as an opportunity to introduce them to varieties that are going to help with alleviating poverty in the households.
The project is also being implemented in Kalumbira and Mwinilunga districts. Clifford Chituta reporting in Kasempa district, Northwestern Province.
You are still watching Camnet TV main news, broadcasting live on Topstar channel 106, Facebook, YouTube, and streaming live on Kenstream as Camnet TV. We take our first set of commercials. Do join us for more news after the break.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Are you looking for a reliable and efficient courier company with international standards? Then let UBZ Courier, your trusted partner in swift and secure deliveries, be your ultimate choice. Whether it's a small package or a hefty consignment, UBZ Courier handles it all, locally and internationally. Our modern call center ensures personalized attention for every client. For seamless deliveries within Zambia and beyond, trust UBZ Courier. Call us now on +260 763 062 680 or visit us at plot number 15 Mwapona Road, Woodland, Lusaka, Zambia. UBZ Courier, a world-class brand that can be trusted.
Enjoy the benefits of an instant loan with us ranging from 1,000 kwacha to 750,000 kwacha paid express once collateral is viewed, valued and verified. Call us on 0763 595 359 or 0779 432 993. Classified Financial Express, here as your financial friend.
Every Monday to Thursday afternoon, join us for the Lunchtime Cafe. We get to bring to you emerging stories making the headlines, media news, and we remind you of what political leaders and governance actors said back in the days. In Forgotten Stories, we emphasize to you the importance of eating healthy foods and leading healthy lifestyles on the Nutrition Corner. Get the latest updates in sports and critical interviews. Because we value your contribution to national matters, we accord you an opportunity to share your perspectives during the viewers' reactions. The Camnet TV Lunchtime Cafe is an all-inclusive buffet. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Russian firefighting air tankers have dropped over 130 tons of water on Iranian's Shahid Rajai port following a massive explosion that occurred last Saturday. According to a Russian emergency ministry, 2 air tankers were deployed to assist Iranian authorities in extinguishing the blaze. Imagery released on Tuesday showed the aircraft releasing torrents of water as thick plumes of smoke continue to rise from the affected area. Here's a roundup of international news.
Business roared back to life as electricity returned to nearly all of Portugal and Spain Tuesday following Monday's blackout. By 6:30 a.m., more than 99% of energy demand in Spain had been restored, the country's electricity operator Red Electrica said. The outage, which hit at midday Monday, paralyzed airports, subways and train stations. As you can see, this is a flood of people. So boring. Nobody in, nobody out. Boring, thirsty, hungry. We cannot do anything, and here we are completely lost. Millions were left without phone and internet coverage and access to cash from ATMs across the Iberian Peninsula. We didn't know any of this until we got to the airport. Traveled from the north of Portugal, we didn't get a notification until we got here because the internet is down. So I cannot book a hotel, I cannot do any of the stuff. The subject of an investigation. authorities downplayed the likelihood of a cyber attack.
Massive Russian firefighting air tankers have dropped over 130 tons of water on Iran's Shahid Rajai port following a deadly explosion on Saturday. According to Russia's emergency ministry, 2 aircraft carried out the drops, captured in dramatic footage showing water released as thick smoke billowed from the site. By Monday, Iranian officials said the fire had been extinguished, but the toll had already risen to at least 70 people killed. Authorities continue to investigate the cause of the blast. While some reports suggest the port stored chemicals used in solid fuel for ballistic missiles, officials have denied this, yet offered no alternative explanation for the explosion's force.
Amnesty International has warned of the deteriorating global human rights crisis as the Trump effect accelerates destructive trends. The annual report entitled "The State of the World's Human Rights" assesses national, regional and global developments across a wide range of human rights themes. Among the issues that hinder human rights are violations in armed conflicts, repression of dissent, discrimination, economic and climate injustice, and the misuse of technology to infringe on human rights. The report also stated that while Africa's armed conflicts cause relentless civilian suffering, including increasing levels of sexual and gender-based violence and death on a massive scale, international and regional responses remain woefully inadequate, with civilians feeling forgotten. It also highlighted the cost of living crisis that has deepened as prices of food, fuel and other basic necessities spiraled. High taxation level, unsustainable public debt, widespread and unchecked corruption, escalating conflicts and extreme weather events exacerbating the crisis. Unlawful attacks and killing by government forces and armed groups were also reported across Africa, including in Burkina Faso, Cameroon, the Central African Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo and Ethiopia. Operations by government forces often left also a trail of civilian deaths. In Burkina Faso, the military reportedly killed at least 223 civilians, including at least 56 children, in the villages of Soro and Nodin in February.
In sports news this evening, Football Association of Zambia FAZ President Andrew Kamanga has disclosed that the association is working on establishing a museum in honor of the departed Zambia senior men's national soccer team who perished on the evening of 27th April 1993 on board a DHC-5 Buffalo transport aircraft of the Zambia Air Force ZAF, which crashed into the Atlantic Ocean shortly after taking off from Libreville, Gabon. Kamanga says FAZ and the family members gather every year to honor the memory of the departed players who perished pursuing the country's shared dream of going to the World Cup. He says that although the aspirations of going to the World Cup were never fulfilled, FAZ has taken pride in the qualification of other teams such as the senior women's national team and men's under-20 team who have been to the World Cup. Kamanga further says FAZ continues pursuing the dream of getting the senior men's national team to feature at the World Cup as an honor to the departed senior men's national team. Meanwhile, family representative of the departed players has appealed to all stakeholders to continue beautifying the burial site. She has called on the government and FAZ to assist families of the departed players who are in need of financial assistance. The Zambia national football team was en route to a 1994 FIFA World Cup qualifier against Senegal in Dakar. All 25 passengers and 5 crew members were killed.
While their aspirations remain unfulfilled, we take pride that other national teams have achieved this prestigious goal. Our women's senior national team, our men's under-20 national team, our under-17 women's team have all been to the World Cup. And yesterday, the under-17 women's team qualified again to this year's World Cup, together with the under-17 men. We continue pursuing that dream of getting the senior men's national team to feature at the World Cup as an honor to our departed heroes. We remain committed to supporting the Chipolopolo to reach the World Cup, thereby fulfilling the vision of those who rest here. We continue working towards establishing a museum dedicated to these courageous individuals.
Going forward, we are asking all stakeholders to come through in any way to assist us continue beautifying this burial site in terms of materials, paving, landscaping this place, and working on the tombs that most of them, letters of the names have fallen off and some tombs have cracks. Hence, immediate action is needed. As well as we need a permanent structure where we are even able to gather like the way we've come today, where we can sit as families when we are commemorating the memorial site, together with an ablution block. As I represent the families, I'm asking government and FARS to help some families who are in need. Shelters as some are roaming in the streets, which makes my heart bleed. Government and FARS should also help some families to acquire some skills which will help them to sustain or better their lives.
We end the news, but let's take a look at stories that made headlines. Government cuts power imports by $45 million and boosts solar investments. Gender-based violence cases rise by over 15% in the first quarter of 2025, says Zambia police. Agricultural expert urges government to prioritize local consumption amid projected bumper harvest. Russian air tankers assist in firefighting efforts following deadly explosion at Iranian port. FARS to build museum in honor of the departed Zambia senior men's national team. We now look at the Camnet verse for the day, coming from the book of Romans chapter 8 and verse 37. It reads, "In all these things we are more than conquerors through him that loved us." We end the reading and we end the main news, but dear viewer, like always, do remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel, and now broadcasting on TopStar channel 106, Facebook, YouTube, and on the Kenstream app as Camnet TV. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Tapelo Joe Smarter. Good evening and God bless.
Get all the latest updates in court news only on Camnet TV. We take you and make you feel part of the court sessions through our in-depth coverage of the adjudication process. Get informed on those who have been arrested, delayed and denied the police bond or bail victims, persons taking plea, court adjournments, verdicts, and those administration issues in the judiciary. You can also follow and give us a like on our social media platforms, Camnet TV, not just another channel.